So, welcome to the Sunday Feast program. It's a long weekend, so probably the attendance is expected to be a little lower because people have gone out for the long weekend. Now, summer vacations have also started, right? Your summer vacation started?
Yeah.
So a lot of devotees are planning to go to India during the summer vacation with their family, and it's a good time to go to take a long vacation, and many devotees are planning to visit the holy dhams. So I was requested by multiple devotees to sort of, or they told me that they are going to Sri Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, Jagannath Puri, many other places. So, and some devotees were asking me what places to visit, what to do, etc., and so on. So I thought I will make a presentation on visiting Sri Vrindavan Dham. Of course, in 50 minutes or 1 hour that we have, it is absolutely not possible to cover all these wonderful topics. I will share some, as you can see here, I have some, if you want, you should, I'll show this later, but here is a book on color guide to Vrindavan, and this is another book called Color Guide to Sri Radhakund. So there are many other such books on the various dhams that are written by devotees very nicely. So I'll share some more about that as we go along. So, okay, is it coming on the screen now? Yeah. So first I thought to start with a verse, a very, very important verse, and this is from Nectar of Instruction, Sri Upadeshamritam. So please try to, this is number 9. And let's recite this verse. I will explain the meaning, and here you will understand from the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, the prominent Acharya Srila Rupa Goswami, who's writing this Upadeshamritam, what is the topmost holy place in the entire universe. So let us recite this. I will recite it once, and then we will do lead follow. Okay? Vaikuntha janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad vrindaranyamudar pani ramanat tatrapi govardhana radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat kuryadasya virajato giritate sevam vivekinaka. So this verse is describing the sort of sequential, it's giving some sequence of how important is the topmost place. And no surprises, the topmost place is Sri Radhakunda. So let us recite this verse, and line by line. It is in the meter Shardula Vikriditam with 19 syllables. And there is a break, which is, I will point it out, you can sing it. It's the same tune as Sri Shad Goswami Astakam. Vaikuntha janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad. Vaikuntha janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad. So what it is saying here is that it's starting already from Vaikuntha Dham. So tatrapi means beyond Vaikuntha there is a higher place, and that is Madhupuri. Madhupuri means Mathura Dham. Why it is higher than Vaikuntha Dham? Because Janito, or birth, occurred of Lord Sri Krishna, appeared on this planet 5,000 years ago in Mathura Dham. So Mathura Dham is higher than Vaikuntha Dham because Lord Krishna took appearance over in Mathura. Now, the next line will say, so let us sing the next line. Vrindaranyamudar pani ramanat tatrapi govardhana.
Vrindaranyamudar pani ramanat tatrapi govardhana.
So, now there is a place which is higher than Mathura. Which is what? Huh? Vrindavan. Why is it higher than Mathura? Because in Mathura Lord took birth, but in Vrindavan he did Rasa Utsavad, Rasa Utsav, all his Rasa Leelas, his sweet pastimes with his dearmost devotees, the gopis, they all occurred in Vrindavan. So Rasotsavad Vrindaranyam. So in Vrindavan, these Rasa Utsav pastimes occurred, and therefore that is considered higher. But there's one more tatrapi in this line. There is something higher than Vrindavan as well. And that is what? It is given in this line itself, which is Govardhan. Why Govardhan? Udara Pani Ramanat. Ramana means to possess or to hold. Pani means, what does Pani mean? Hand. We say Pani Grahan. What is Pani Grahan ceremony? Huh? Pani Grahan ceremony is what? Marriage. You know, the bride and groom, they hold each other's hand. So that is Pani means to hold in the hand, or the hand. Udara Pani. Udara means the great or the very, kind, magnificent. So in a very magnificent, kind, great, wonderful way, Lord Krishna held the Govardhan hill in his hands. And also a lot of other sweet pastimes occurred in Govardhan. So therefore it is higher than Vrindavan. Third line, Radha Kunda Mihapi Gokulapate Premamritat Plavanat. So Ihapi means that this, higher than this, higher than which one? Govardhana, is the place called Radha Kunda. And that Radha Kunda is higher than Govardhan as well, or even Govardhan. Why? Because Gokulapate Premamrita Plavanat. So Plavanat means overflowing. Plavana means, you must have heard this word, like going in a boat. It is called a plava. But a boat cannot go. A plavanat means a boat cannot go. Can a boat ride in an overflowing river? It's very dangerous. A plavanat means it's overflowing, when it's not suitable to have a boat go through the river. Okay? So what is happening is that this place called Radha Kunda is overflowing with the Prema Amrita of Gokulapati. Who is Gokulapati? Krishna. So it is overflowing with the Prema Amrita, with the nectar of love of Lord Krishna is overflowing from this Radha Kunda. And that is why this place is the topmost. Okay? Kuryadasya virajato giritate sevam vivekina. So what it means is that, so having known these first three lines, what are the first three lines saying? Starts with Vaikuntha, which is already considered the topmost place. So there are three more places above that. Mathura, or four more. Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, and then Radhakunda. So total 5 places are mentioned in this verse. And Viveki means an intelligent person. So Viveki na kahu, it's like a rhetorical question. Which intelligent person would not render some service, sevam viveki naka, who would not, kuryad asya, would not give or would not render any service to this topmost place, Virajato Giri Tate, where it is located? Right next to Giri Tata, at the beginning point of Giriraj Govardhan. So in this verse, so let us read the translation by Srila Prabhupada. Anybody has a mic here, or it's okay, I'll read it. Why don't you read this?
The, okay. The holy place known as Madura is spiritually superior to Vaikunta, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Madura, Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhana hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Lord Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Radha Kunda stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarine prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kunda?
Thank you. Is it going to work or not? Because then I'll just have to speak, and that's like only 10% of the feast. So it's a Sunday feast, so here first we'll have a visual feast, then we'll have feet with the tongue, and all senses have been taken care today. Visual, then you will get to chant the holy name, you'll get to hear, that's second. And the third one is also prasadam after that. So all this is part of the plan today. So from a Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya standpoint, today I will try to go into some of the prominent places to visit in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And one second, I need to change something here. Okay. So, after Lord Krishna's disappearance 5,000 years ago, when he appeared, he performed all these pastimes and then he disappeared. Even the place Vrindavan also disappeared after some time. Then 500 years ago, which means 4,500 years after the appearance of Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself, Lord Chaitanya, who is on our altar here, Lord Chaitanya and his elder brother Nityananda Prabhu, none other than Balaram ji. So Lord Krishna and Balaram again appeared in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered or rediscovered, because he is Krishna himself, he knows where he himself had performed these pastimes 4,500 years earlier. And he went to Vrindavan and rediscovered some of the places. And some of the places he left for his 6 primary disciples, who are known as the Shad Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, for them to discover. There is a very beautiful song or a line in a song by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, which says that Ech hai Gosai Jabe Braj Koilo Bas, Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash. So when these 6 Goswamis, whose picture is shown here, when they were residing in Vraja, they rediscovered the remaining, all the other remaining places which were lost in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan was primarily rediscovered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers and his disciples. So we have a lot of gratitude and a lot to thank Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees for rediscovering all these places of Vrindavan. So, before one goes to Vrindavan, one should try to prepare for going to the Dham. Just like for any important task, you have to do a lot of preparation. Before you buy a house, you need to prepare, do I have the finances, do I have the down payment, is my credit history proper so I can get a mortgage? Before you do if you go in for a surgery, you have to do a lot of preparation. Before doing any important thing, before any exam, for a job interview, you have to prepare. If you're planning to have a child, you do a lot of preparation. So many things. If you're moving from one town to the other, you first go do some house hunting. There's a lot of preparation. So similarly, going to a dham needs to have the adequate amount of preparation. And preparation from the spiritual angle, not just booking your tickets and hotel and all those other things, but also from a spiritual standpoint, preparing your heart to go to Vrindavan. So it is very, very important that one connects the heart with the dham. And then you will create a spiritual connection with the place so that when you visit the place, it will look or it will appear to be very familiar. Or if not familiar, it will appear to be something that you have been longing for. Like one example comes to mind that in traditional Indian culture, in some parts, now not always, in some parts, before the marriage, the boy and the girl would never meet, would not even see the face because there was no photography or anything. The first time they would see the face is when the curtain is lowered in the marriage ceremony. And at that point, there's no going back. And imagine the amount of curiosity, the amount of connection that has been built up. The connection has been built up. Now you are actually coming face to face. There is so much of excitement before that. Now, of course, this is not the traditional, one should not think that this is the only way. There are many different kinds. I mean, for example, Lord Ram and Mother Sita met each other before. Krishna and Rukmini wrote letters. There was some communication between them, or at least from Mother Rukmini's side to Lord Krishna. So, but this is also one part of the tradition that they never meet, they never see each other, just the parents meet and, or family members and so on. So that kind of connection needs to be built with the place, even if you have not gone there before. So how do you build that connection? Read. Hear. When I say read, I could have also added read and hear and listen about the place. Read what? So about the various places of pastimes. So you're going to a particular place. So read about those places, and the Lord never does his pastimes alone. Never. Always with his devotees. So read about those devotees, and sometimes only the devotees do the pastimes. Like the 6 Goswamis. Of course, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but after Lord Chaitanya ended his pastimes on this planet, the Goswamis had so many pastimes at various places. So to read about them, to read about their pastimes, and then a strong connection builds with the person and the place. And then when you go to that place, the amount of joy, the amount of satisfaction at a spiritual level that one experiences is a lot more. So that's what I have said in the remaining few lines. So a spiritual nostalgia will be fulfilled when you go to the place and meet these personalities. Now you may not meet these personalities in like the physical sense, not with your eyes, and you may not see them, but you will see as we go along the presentation what it means by meeting these personalities. So we will start with Sri Radha Kund. So Radha Kund is situated at the Tata, Giri Tate, at one end of Sri Govardhan Hill, Giri Govardhan. So here is just a map. You can see sort of the Vrindavan is here, and Shri Shri Nitai Sachinanand Dev Bhagwan ki jai. So Giri Govardhan is over here, and you can see in this side picture, which is like an aerial view, Giri Govardhan is shaped like a long peacock. So it's a very long hill, and at the one end, at the head of the peacock, is Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. So you can see this here, Govardhan Hill, Radha Kund and Shyam Kund are here, and it's pretty far from Vrindavan. Arguably, Mathura is closer to Vrindavan than Govardhan. But there is very good connectivity these days between Vrindavan and Govardhan. You can take a taxi or some kind of transport and go there. It's not walkable unless you're a seasoned hiker. So here is an aerial picture of Sri Radha Kund and Shyama Kund. So this one, which is like a rectangle, is Sri Radha Kund, and Shyam Kund is a little, just like Srimati Radharani. She's very straight and simple, and Krishna is a little, crooked, so to say. But there are, and again, like I said, in half an hour remaining, I have a lot of things I want to share, so it will be a very, very quick presentation that I will fly through. Hopefully it is getting recorded and so on, so you can look at it offline as well. There's a lot more to be shared. So, and please remember that behind each place, there is a wonderful story, there is a wonderful pastime. You can read a lot about these places and build that connection with the place. How, for example, Shyamakund appeared and then Radhakund appeared next after the killing of the Arishtasur demon. There's a beautiful story of the pastime between Lord Krishna and the various gopis. It's a very, very sweet pastime. We don't have time to go into it. There's also a pastime as to why this Shyamakund is kind of in a pentagonal shape, and so on. And there's a little link, a little tunnel, so the waters mix. The Shyamakund and Radhakund waters mix at this particular place. So the water is one and the same. There is no difference between the two waters. Some people say, oh, Radhakund is more special. One should not think that Shyamakund is any less. But at the same time, still Radhakund is special. So, that is, both speak from both sides of your mouth. So all these, and here once again I will show, when I read, this is one of the sources, Prabhuji Rajashekhar Das Brahmachari. He's, as far as I understand, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He has written this very nice color guide to Radhakund. Just Radhakund has a book as thick as this other book called Color Guide of Vrindavan. So even though the size-wise, Radhakund is so small and Vrindavan is like a whole big town, but still the amount of places to visit around Radhakund are so many that it needed a whole book of its own. So here itself you can spend a whole week, but if you have like 3-4 days, definitely try to spend one full day in Govardhan and Radhakund. Now near Radhakund there are at least like 40-50 places as mentioned in this book. So just a couple of important places. Now I have shown here, this is the Radhakund. I have overlaid on this picture. So somewhere around this location is the Samadhi of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. And so you need to know who is Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Of course, he is one of the 6 Goswamis, this picture that I showed earlier. But he is one of the very special of the 6 Goswamis. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ends every chapter, every single chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita ends with this verse. What is that verse? Shri Rupa Raghunath Pada Kare Asa Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. So at the feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath. So he is giving special mention to Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami at the end of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that is just one thing that came to my mind. There are so many things about Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. So when you are sitting outside his samadhi, sit outside each of these places that we will discuss or I will share, chant a few rounds, take a book, take printouts if you have detailed. The book is, again, I would say this book is very thin. It's not doing justice to all these personalities and all these places. But again, I'm sure this devotee wanted to create a book that thick, but then, nobody would buy it, or it would be too heavy to carry and all that. So take printouts, take whatever it means for you to take, and sit down and read over there, or pre-read and just sit there and remember and relish. That is what I mean by connecting with the Dham. Maybe a small dog will come, he'll bark at you. You might have to move your place. Doesn't matter. Maybe there is, some dog poop somewhere. Maybe some cow dung is there. That's okay. That's all part of the Dham. Don't get upset by seeing these places. Okay, this is like a little bit of a decoy. I will mention a decoy in very shortly I will mention about a decoy. You know what is a decoy? What is the purpose of a decoy?
To attract what you want.
No, not to attract what you want. Huh? Huh? Take away the attention from whom? From the main thing, but take away whose attention? The unwanted people. Isn't it? That's a decoy, right? So you have like a, what you call? There's a term in computer security, or some nest it's called, I forget. Anyway, it's not, the word is not coming, but it's like a decoy. So it's a place to attract unwanted people, but to keep them away from the real place. Okay? And so these things, this whatever dirt and everything that you see, people who do not have the spiritual connection with the Dham, they will say, it's dirty, let's get out of here. So that's Krishna's arrangement to make all the unwanted people come there, have a distaste and leave, so that the real people who have the connection can peacefully stay and relish the Dham. So once you understand this, then those things will not make, you will not get swayed by the decoy. You will get attracted to the real one. So this is the picture of Samadhi of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. But as I understand from various readings that I have done, this is not the real Samadhi. As you can see here near Radha Kund, again now all these settlements have come, maybe in the last 100, 200 years. Imagine like 400, 500 years ago when these were actually discovered, these settlements were not there. So it's probably like a little, jungle, not jungle, but a, open space. So it's pretty far away, as you can see, like some 6, 7 houses are there. This is the place of real Samadhi of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, which you can see here written in Hindi. This is the Samadhi of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. There are 2 more Samadhis, Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami and Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. All of them left their bodies on the same day, different years, but same day. So it is coming up soon on a Dwadashi, just before the Kartik month. And you will see one particular day when it is disappearance of all three of these great personalities. So Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is, you need to know. So how many of you know that the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita is Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami? It is the most important, after Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the most important textbook that is supposed to be read and internalized in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So after Srimad Bhagavatam, this one comes. So he's the author of that, and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis. So very, very prominent personalities, and all of them passed away on the same tithi, but different years. In a span of 2-3 years, they all left their bodies, and they were all the Samadhi, which means they were buried. The Acharyas, even though for normal people, they are cremated in the fire, but Acharyas are buried and their Samadhi is created in that sense. So it is here that the physical, the Vapu body of Raghunath Das Goswami was buried, and Jiva Goswami, who was the younger one, oversaw this process. And he knew that Muslim kings are there and they might, come and desecrate the Samadhi if they were to come and with the army. So he said, let's create a Samadhi Mandir little far away. That's the understanding. So that's why you will see the real Samadhi and this one. Okay, so once you understand these details, you can go and sit there at the actual Samadhi Mandir and have this vision or this feeling that Jiva Goswami ordered this. Then you can think of this story and go to this place and sit down and say, here is the real one. Just few feet below. You can imagine, just if I were to go down a few feet, maybe I will see the bones or whatever remains, the physical remains of Raghunath Das Goswami are 6 feet below where I am right now. You can think like that. That is the connection that you can build by going to these places. And that is what I call by a spiritual meeting with these personalities. Maybe some molecule of dust is still there from 500 years ago that you can touch. So like this, you can build a spiritual connection. And there are so many other places around Sri Radhakund. Now there's one more place, which is the Bhajan Kutir of Raghunath Das Goswami. And great pastimes occurred. I'll very quickly just describe this one pastime, that there was no Bhajan Kutir. He was so renounced, he didn't want a Bhajan Kutir, like a little shed on top of his head. And somewhere near, now I leave it as an exercise for all of you, you should read the book or whatever other sources and find out where his Bhajan Kutir is. Okay? And that is the place where he was sitting and doing bhajan, unaware that one time a tiger was coming and drinking some water from Radhakund. And then Lord Krishna had to appear to protect Raghunath Das Goswami from the tiger. He was making sure. And Sanatan Goswami on the side was standing and seeing all this. Now that also speaks to the greatness of Sanatan Goswami. If Lord Krishna is coming and protecting, it's not like he's coming like, that can be seen by anyone. But Sanatan Goswami could see, which speaks to how great he is, that he could see as well. And then later on, so he told Raghunath Das Goswami, please build a bhajan kutir. If you don't want, I can build for you, so that, you'll have some protection. He did not listen. Then one time, the sun was so hot in Vrindavan. If you're going in summer, you will experience that one time Srimati Radharani came and put her, like a garment over Raghunath Das Goswami so that he gets some shade. Then Sanatan Goswami said, no, this is too much. First, Lord Krishna had to come and serve you. We are supposed to serve him. They are coming and serving you. They are becoming your soldier or guard. They are becoming your, shelter. So Sanatan Goswami built a bhajan kutir, a small hut in which Raghunath Das Goswami could do his bhajan. Somewhere near this place it is. Find out and go visit. Now, having known this story, read this story in more detail. And then there will be a whole different, if I just took you there, this is the bhajan kutir of Raghunath Das Goswami. Okay, fine. 11 rupees you will put, do this and leave. Versus knowing this, knowing that not only Raghunath Das Goswami was standing here, but Srimati Radharani was standing next to him. Maybe one molecule of dust is still remaining over there from the feet of Srimati Radharani. Like that, you can have the connection with those places. So the more you read, the more you prepare, the more you understand, you will build these connections. And then your experience of going to the Dham will be completely at a whole different level. It will be a next level experience. So now let's quickly, we have 20 more minutes left. I'll breeze through some of these slides. Now we will go to Vrindavan Dham. I found this photo on the internet, nice photo on the banks of Yamuna River. Right here you can see the big tower, tallest temple, and it's the oldest one, Madan Mohan Temple. But before that, the first place you should go to is the Krishna Balaram Mandir. All of you being devotees of Srila Prabhupada, followers of Srila Prabhupada. This was established. Construction was completed in 1975. This is the temple that was established, the ISKCON temple, or the Hare Krishna temple. In local language, it is called Angrejon ka Mandir, the temple of the Westerners. But all the residents of Vrindavan have a lot of, they like the Westerners a lot. First of all, because they can see that their culture is being spread all over the world. Plus, the Westerners come and spend a lot of money as well, and, buy a lot of things and all those things. So everybody likes, it's a very, very happy atmosphere in entire Vrindavan. So, and arguably, the position or the importance of Vrindavan has been spread worldwide, primarily because of Srila Prabhupada. And Vrindavan, the first time any local person in Vrindavan saw somebody from the West was when Srila Prabhupada came with his disciples to Vrindavan. Maybe there might have been one or two before that, but the whole thing sort of exploded at that time. So now I'm going to breeze past some of the slides. I have a lot of these things, a lot of slides. So this is the photo of the principal deities, Shri Krishna and Balaram. So this temple is located not what we call as downtown Vrindavan, but little bit away, called Ramanareti. Ramanareti is a place where Krishna and Balaram used to have their, that's where they would take to graze the cows and all that. So gopis were not generally present in that Ramanareti because they were more in downtown Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada decided to put the primary deities to be Krishna and Balaram because this is Ramanareti. But there is also deities of, so here is another picture of Srila Prabhupada directly at that time performs the same deities. Now you can see that they may not look the same. I'm flipping between these two, but the painting, the lips and all that makes it a little different. But same deities, and it's also said the deities change over time. So I don't have the vision to observe that with my material eyes. But you can see these are the exact same deities which Srila Prabhupada is worshipping here. Then there is Gaur-Nitai deities on the side, on one side, and then on the other side is Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. You cannot have a temple in Vrindavan without Srimati Radharani. And here the two Sakhis, Lalita Sakhi and Vishakha Sakhi, are also present. If you go to Mayapur, you will see all the 8 Ashtasakhis. So here, since temple size is smaller, Vrindavan is like prime location, real estate. So they couldn't get a very, very big land. In Mayapur, they got a very big land, so they could have a much bigger altar, much bigger temple hall. Okay. And then there is the Samadhi of Srila Prabhupada. So this was obviously constructed after Srila Prabhupada departed. So Prabhupada was buried, so to say. I'm using the word buried in a sort of a generic sense. But this is where his Vapu, his material body, was put in Samadhi, and then there is a Samadhi Mandir of Srila Prabhupada over here. Now, that's not all. Behind the temple, there is the Srila Prabhupada's quarter. You must absolutely visit there also. Actually, one of the devotees told me, oh yes, I visited Krishna Balaram Mandir. I said, did you see Prabhupada's quarters? I said, I saw Prabhupada's Samadhi. So what about the quarter? Oh, I didn't know there was a quarters also. Yes, there is. So this is exactly the place where Srila Prabhupada left his body. So this is the room in which he left his body. There's the same bed is there and all that. It's preserved. Here in this picture that I found on the internet, some festival is going on and a lot of flowers are there, but may not be there. This is the bed on which this is like the bed which is decorated with flowers. You may not see this level of decoration all the time. Maybe it was the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada or disappearance day. I don't know when the picture is taken, but this is what I found on the internet. And there are other rooms where some of the articles that Srila Prabhupada used have been preserved. One of the things that you can see there is his passport. I saw on the passport, his name is there, and then you have to put your father's name. So he did not put his father's name, he put Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So it's there on his actual passport. So, even today, we may get a name so-and-so Das or so-and-so whatever Dasi, but passport has the actual legal name. He converted all of that, he made it There's no difference between Srila Prabhupada legal and spiritual. Everything is spiritual only. So at least when I visited many years ago, that passport was there. I asked somebody, did you see the passport? They said, no, I didn't see. So maybe they have removed it or maybe they missed it. I don't know. So look for it. That's the thing. Now you know, at least you will look for it. Even if it is not there, at least you will look carefully at all the other items. Then maybe you can one day sit and give a class over here about the new things that you saw, which I didn't, which were not there when I went. So like this, you must, it's not just about just going there and doing this and then come back and then say, what did you see? I don't know. So like this, be observant and relish each of these things and relish the sweetness in each of those things. Like this passport story. And then don't forget Govinda's. It's right next to the Srila Prabhupada's quarter. Have a nice, wonderful prasadam there and all that. Then we come to the 7 original Gaudiya temples, the Sapta Devalaya as it is called. So as I told you in the beginning, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, established many of the main places of pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna and his devotees or his associates. So each of these temples, and I have shown, I won't read out the list because of shortage of time. Each of these temples was established. This is the principal Goswami or the devotee, the personality that established the temple. So we'll very quickly go through these Sapta Devalayas, what is known as the 7 primary Gaudiya Vaishnava temples. So the oldest one is Madan Mohan temple, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji. Now the deities of Madan Mohan Ji during the invasion of Aurangzeb, he was a very nasty Muslim ruler, as you all know, the last Mughal, and it is said by our acharyas, the later ones, that Mughal dynasty initially was favorable. Akbar, for example, was very favorable to all the devotees of Vrindavan, and he would help them, not only just leave them alone to do their business, but actually help them. So he was very open, broad-minded. But then Aurangzeb over the generations later became very antagonistic, and the Mughal dynasty also finished because of his antagonism towards the Vaishnavas. So this temple has a very beautiful story of a salt merchant, which we don't have time to go into. But the deities were, I was saying, that we were moved to Jaipur. And Madan Mohan Ji deity also has a very sweet story of how they were moved from Jaipur to Karoli. So there's a big temple in Karoli in Rajasthan. If you go, you should visit, of Madan Mohan Ji. Now here, later on, in the recent years, they have placed a small replica deity in the temple. But the temple is still very, very important. Right next to the temple, you'll have to ask your way, find your way around, is the Samadhi of Sri Sanatana Goswami. So like I said, it's not just the temple and the deity, but the devotees, the personalities that are also extremely important, and their Samadhis, that's where they are actually there. Their Vapu body is there. So you can feel that spiritual connection with them. So this is how now it has been modernized. I haven't been to Vrindavan in last 6-7 years. Last I went, I think, was 2014. Almost 9 years. Now I'm planning to go this year again in December. So it has been modernized much. And some Russian devotees have sort of taken responsibility to manage it. So now they have put a Russian label also. So anyway, then here you can see a small Granth Samadhi. Again, Aurangzeb, when he invaded Vrindavan, his idea was to capture all the books and burn them up and finish them, because books, Shastra is the main foundation. So if you take away the Shastra, you take away a lot. So the Shastras were then buried in this Granth Samadhi to protect them from the invasion. Then later out, they were taken out. Some of them were lost in the process. If you bury a book, it's probably going to get damaged. But I don't know the history. Some of it were taken out, and then, copies were made. Later on, this Samadhi was built on top just to, protect, so that nobody walks over those remaining portions of the books that were buried. You're following? So that is the Granth Samadhi. So you can connect with that place and think that some very important Shastras are buried there. Then Radha Damodar Temple. This is the sort of the heart of downtown, like, what do you call in New York? Fifth Avenue or something. This is like this is like the absolute centerpiece of Vrindavan. So this is a very huge altar. The principal deities are Shri Shri Radha and Damodar Ji. And Jiva Goswami is the Goswami among the 6 Goswamis who established the Radha Damodar temple. One unique thing, I won't go over the details of each of these deities. There's a long, you can read pages and pages about them. There's a Govardhan Shila which is covered with a cloth. So this little table that you see, and there's a Govardhan Shila on top of it. It also has a very nice story behind it of Sanatan Goswami that we don't have again time, but if you take 4 parikrama, 4 circumambulations of this Govardhan Shila, it is as good as taking 1 circumambulation of the actual Govardhan hill. And it has the footprint of Lord Krishna. Actually, Sanatan Goswami used to do circumambulation of entire Govardhan every day, even when he was very old. Lord Krishna appeared to him and said, don't do it every day. You are getting very tired. I am putting my foot on this one Govardhan Shila. He came here and he brought the Govardhan Shila. Lord Krishna brought it, put his foot here on it and said, just do 4 circumambulations every day around it. It is equal to 1 circumambulation of the whole Govardhan hill. So it is covered because it has the actual imprint of Lord Krishna's foot. And the pujari, will, if you give him like 100 rupee donation, now inflation, you can extrapolate a little bit based on inflation rate, but give him some donation, Don't think that, oh, he's a pujari, he's in a temple, why he should want donation. We should not have this feeling. Everybody has to eat, live, What if your employer tells you that, oh, I heard you are a devotee in the temple, why don't you work for me for free? Doesn't work like that. So with a very broad-minded, open heart, give even to the beggars. Don't think, it's not okay to give to beggars. And if you give to 1 beggar, 10 more will come. Give to all 10. Prepare and yourself and go. Take some change, take some, currency, so that even if 10 come, you have enough to give to everyone. Why not? They are all, So like this, you can take darshan. Then in the Radha Damodar temple, you can spend a lot of time, half day you can spend just there. There is the samadhi of none other than Sri Rupa Goswami. So this is how it used to look when I visited last. Now it has been much modernized. Lot of construction around it has happened. There is like a big hall, this, that, all that. And here you can see 2 opposite to each other. One of them is the samadhi. The other one is the bhajan kutir of Rupa Goswami. You can sit there and do nice japa over there, knowing that Rupa Goswami is sitting here. Okay? Then, again in that courtyard of Radha Damodar temple, there, and he wrote the initial. That's all he brought. All of those were written over here in this room. So that room is now acquired by ISKCON. They take care of the room. And, it's a very important place for all the followers of Srila Prabhupada. And here, after Srila Prabhupada became more famous and all, after coming, so on one of his visits back, he, is sitting here. This is a very famous picture and talking with some other devotees in that same room. It is said that in this room, Sri Rupa Goswami appeared to Srila Prabhupada and blessed him and said, you be fearless and go. Go to the west, I will take care of the rest. So Rupa Goswami appeared to him in this room. So you can know all these pastimes and just imagine the spiritual connection that you will build when you actually visit those places at that time. You will be actually able to connect with Srila Prabhupada, with Rupa Goswami, with all these personalities. Here is another picture, Srila Prabhupada visiting that room. This is a outside picture of that room, and he visited that room at that time. Then there is, on the other side, there is Samadhi of Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami is arguably, the one who, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were very renowned. Had it not been for Jiva Goswami, all the works and all the importance of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami would have been lost, because they wouldn't care for too much. Jiva Goswami just established it. He was the one who put it on a strong foundation that it cannot be then shaken. So he was the one who cemented the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy by taking all the teachings of the Goswamis and putting it into a systematic way, and also having many disciples and basically establishing it in a very, very organized way. So Jiva Goswami did a lot. If it were not for Jiva Goswami, we would not be here. So, and of course Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami as well, but Jiva Goswami, I'm saying at the next level below, played an extremely, extremely important role. So his Samadhi is there. This is the inside view of the Samadhi. Here you see a picture of George Harrison outside the Samadhi, along with Shyam Sundar Prabhu. He lives in Oregon, it seems, somewhere. And this is Mukunda Goswami. So the three devotees were sent to Gurudas Prabhu, Mukunda Goswami and Shyam Sundar Prabhu were sent to UK, and there they established connection with the Beatles. So, as you all know, George Harrison is part of the Beatles. Then again in Radha Damodar, 64 Samadhis. So such a downtown place that the various followers, the various acharyas made Samadhis of various, there is a Samadhi of Narottam Das Thakur, and many other Samadhis are there in this place. So you can go and, now if you don't know how to read Bengali, maybe you can, now these days I think with the phone you can do a lot, Google Translate and this and that. Or you can take a book, you can pre-read, and you can prepare yourself to, mark, oh, this Samadhi I want to spend time, 10 minutes, half an hour, this one, you can make your own list, short list. This is preparation. Then Radha Raman Mandir. This is the outside of Radha Raman Mandir. Very small deity. Again, very, very beautiful story of how the deity appeared. So again, we won't have time to go into it. I have taken 3 different beautiful pictures of Shri Shri Radha Ramanji. And you can again spend a lot of time sitting there and just looking at the deity and doing your japa or read or whatever else you want to do there. The rabdi of this place is very special. You should ask the Pandit, can I have a small, what you call as the earthen, kullad of rabdi. It's a very special rabdi that is offered to Radha Ramanji, and then you can get a small cup of that and honor that. And behind in the temple, there is the Samadhi of Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami. Then there is the temple of Sri Radha Gokulanandaji. Again, very quickly we'll breeze through, it's already 12:28. Sri Radha Shyam Sundarji. Radha Govind Mandir. Again, the deities, this was established by Rupa Goswami, but the deities were transported to Jaipur. So they are still there in Jaipur, worshipped very nicely. This temple has a replica. And this temple had 7 stories. Now it's very unusual, you can see it's almost flat at the top, because it was started to be broken. That time there was no nuclear bomb that Aurangzeb could just blow up the temple. So he ordered his soldiers to start from the top. But by the time they reached the 3rd floor, you can see this is 3rd floor, 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor in American counting, or ground floor, 1st floor, 2nd floor, whatever. By the time they reached that time, Aurangzeb died, or he lost his kingdom. And so all the soldiers also disappeared. They all went away. So the temple was protected, but the deities had been taken out much before. So this much of the temple is remaining. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ji. Then Imli Tala, very, very important place for Gaudiya Vaishnavas especially. This is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Vrindavan, he used to sit under the tala. Tala means at the bottom of the Imli tree, tamarind tree, and he used to meditate. And it is said that when one time during the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, Sri Nitai Sachinandan Dev Bhagwan ki jai. One time, Srimati Radharani disappeared. And Lord Krishna was looking for her. So, and he became sad. He began searching for Srimati Radharani and came then and sat down under this tamarind tree. And in separation of Srimati Radharani, he was so much feeling intense separation that he started taking on the color of Srimati Radharani. Now Krishna is black, blackish blue, and Radharani is golden or white or very fair. Krishna started becoming fair, sitting under this tree. And that is not unusual, because later he will appear as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a combined form of Radha and Krishna in a golden form. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remembered that, and this is the place he was most attached to. He would come here, sit under this imli tree, tamarind tree, and meditate on that pastime of separation with Srimati Radharani. Very, very important place for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Two more very prominent temples, not from Gaudiya Sampradaya. We need to be broad-minded. We are not locked into Gaudiya only and then everybody else doesn't matter. So definitely must visit and take darshan. One is Banke Bihari Ji. And this was established by Srila Haridas Thakur. Not the Haridas Thakur who is a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but another great Goswami whose name also is Sri Haridas Thakur. And wonderful stories there how he discovered the deity of Banke Bihari Ji and established this temple of Banke Bihari Ji. And another one is Sri Radha Vallabh Ji. Very, very famous temple in Vrindavan, especially for the local people, by Sri Hit Harivansh Chandra Ji. Another great Goswami, again not in the Gaudiya line, and he established this temple of Sri Radha Vallabh Ji. So Radha Vallabh Ji is there. Srimati Radharani is just there as a mukut, as a crown. There is Kalia Ghat. There are so many other places. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so right on time. There's a lot more to immerse, to plan. Again, before going, plan. Don't just do material planning. Oh yes, I have my tickets booked, I have my hotel booked, I have all the restaurants planned out, I have this, that, all that. That is just like, saying that before the exam, I have all my textbooks on my table. That's all. Or I know which room the exam is in, what is the time of the exam, I have my pencils sharpened, I have my pen, paper, geometry set, this, that, I have all that. But if you have not done the study, what's the point of having all these wonderful pen and geometry set? You won't be even able to draw a circle and a line if you don't know the math. So buying the ticket and doing hotel reservation is not, it's important, but is the material level. Prepare. I hope in this 1 hour I have shared with you the importance of preparation. And that preparation you cannot do when you are in the dham. There you have 3 days, 4 days, 1 week. It's like trying to prepare in the 4-hour exam. Even if it is open book test, you need to have read the book to do open book test. Okay? So please prepare before going and you will have a whole different next level experience of the dham. So that is my request to all of you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will, those who are planning to visit will prepare properly and go and visit and come back and share with us what you visited. Thank you so much. Shri Nitai Sachinandan Dev Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? I know Aarti has started, but Prabhuji is kindly allowing 1 or 2 questions, if any. No questions. Okay, let us all wonderfully now go to the next feast, from visual feast to feast of the tongue and the ears, chanting and hearing. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
हरि बोल। जय श्री निताय सचिनंदन भगवान की जय। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामे विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशतारिणे नमस्ते जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम